Hi, I'm David Fifield, the General Manager for the Hunt franchise.
Hello, I'm Dennis Schwartz, Design Director for Hunt Showdown.
I'm Scott Peter, a Principal Engine Programmer on CryEngine.
We're here to bring some clarity and an overdue update on the next big step for Hunt Showdown this summer. This summer will usher in a whole new era of Hunt as our update to CryEngine 5.11 goes live on the 15th of August 2024. Key screens are built on proven and tested patterns from other cross-platform apps and products. This new version offers a more consistent navigation experience and better information architecture. PC players can use directional keys, shortcuts, or just use the cursor and mouse click to access whatever components they want. Additionally, we're refining the visual presentation to better showcase hunters' gear and stats. Everything is better tied together and more consistent for a less confusing experience. The recruitment process itself is being more unified with a clear choice to either recruit a free hunter with a single trait and some basic contraband weapons, or pay 100 hunt dollars to hire a more veteran hunter with 3 traits and no weapons. And many new and reworked versions are now being given bespoke names and will function in the same way current legendary hunters do. The new UI features both a simple carousel and grid view, which allows for 39 hunters to be shown at the same time, as well as scrolling for larger rosters. For added convenience, our new Actions menu flyout provides quick access to critical features for both PC and console players. It reduces the number of clicks and button pushes needed to get where you're wanting to go, or take actions on selected items. Great care has been taken to enhance the visual design, highlighting the game's art and reducing overall UI complexity. All unlocked hunters are recruited in the same way, a fixed cost of 100 hunt dollars each, with a randomized set of 3 traits and no predefined equipment. Once unlocked, all hunters remain recruitable, regardless of new prestige progression. Randomly named free hunters are still available, but with limited contraband equipment and a single trait assigned. Saving your soul in a round of Soul Survivor now moves your surviving hunter directly to your active roster, with a temporary extra hunter slot added for you if needed.
We have upgraded our previous challenge system to provide players with a smoother and more rewarding experience. Firstly, challenges are now released weekly in the form of sets. The order in which sets are released and their contents are the same for all players. Lastly, progress for all types of challenges is now displayed during play, thus removing the guesswork previously required to figure out if you had finished certain challenges before extracting.
The Traits menu has been improved by allowing more traits to be visible in a grid view, with all trait icons now consistently displayed with the option of favoriting your preferred traits. Some new mechanics and a glossary are being developed to better explain classification of traits such as burn traits and scarce traits.
No longer are there only regular and burn traits. Instead, some traits will get the burn or scarce attributes, or both. Scarce traits can only be found in the world and cannot be equipped from the menu with upgrade points. Shadow and the returning Shadow Leap are both examples of scarce traits that are not burn traits and remain on your hunter until you're defeated or fail to extract safely. As far as pack traits go, Shadow Leap specifically was very successful in providing exciting new gameplay mechanics without disrupting the core of the game too much. We want to experiment more with new ideas like Shadow Leap moving forward. Shadow Leap has been adjusted to no longer work for leaping into meatheads as a balancing node. Most of our existing burn traits are now both burn and scarce traits, keeping them consistent with how they worked so far. Rare to find and short-lived, being consumed after they fulfilled their special purpose. This leads us to our first newly modified trait, Necromancer. Necromancer is now a single-use burn trait with a stack size of 1, which costs 4 upgrade points. It also no longer drains your health when attempting to revive a downed teammate. What does this mean for solo hunters? Solo hunters using Necromancer receive a single restoration of all their health chunks as they get back up, but they can only attempt to get up a single time as Necromancer is now burned on use. Every resupply in the game is no longer restricted to just 2 interactions. Saddlebags, toolboxes and ammo boxes, small and big, found in the world will always offer you something to replenish. Medical supplies will always allow a player to heal once. We also changed hunter corpses so they can always be looted unless burned. Vulture will now give you some hunt dollars in addition to other loot gained for 2 upgrade points. We appreciate and want to emphasize the play and counterplay of burning and choke effects. We now have choke bombs, beetles and bolts available for players for tactical use, but we are limiting the duration of choke clouds to half the previous duration. This is a deliberate change to reduce the 2 minutes of just waiting out the choke cloud before making the next counter move in the fight. A lot of effort for our August launch went into making existing systems more robust and improving upon or replacing them where needed. Fall damage has been refactored heavily and now works more consistently even when falling down slopes and weird structures. This results in overall smoother traversal through vertical spaces, something our new map benefits from quite a bit. Traps have seen several improvements to make placing them more reliable. Players can now experiment placing them at angles and try out new spots. Be aware though that doors will now always trigger wire traps placed in front. Moving on to gunplay topics, we are happy to announce that the centered crosshair will be available as the default setting for new players. A lowered crosshair option remains available for players who prefer or are more accustomed to that position. The lack of a centered crosshair has long been cited as a barrier to entry for players transitioning from other first-person shooters into Hunt. And with the August launch, it will now be available for them to consider trying Hunt again. We've taken a closer look at iron sights and standardized the thickness of front sights across many weapons to make them feel more consistent and easier to use at distance. Silenced weapons have received some additional love by cutting off parts of the sights to make them easier to aim with.
Custom ammo does not need to be unlocked through weapon experience. It is automatically available with base weapon types as you begin playing.
In review, we acknowledge there is an oversaturation of custom ammo in our arsenal. Moving forward, we'll take steps to address this by first reducing the amount of new custom ammo types introduced during events, and secondly, by rotating more options in and out with future updates to help shake things up and encourage players to try out different combinations. We clearly don't need further Dolch ammo added to the game anytime soon and are considering removal of some that are currently there. We are applying a subtle drop to projectiles at longer distances based on ammo types and weapon characteristics such as action type and barrel lengths. At extreme ranges, players will now require a bit more skill, judgment and timing to land those perfect shots. While it becomes harder to hit the targeted range, we are also ensuring that any headshot will always be lethal at every range. In an earlier video, we touched upon changes to Hunt's gunplay formula by introducing bullet drop and always lethal headshots. We are happy to announce that with these changes, we are also adding true speed of sound and a gunshot ecosystem for a more authentic depiction of gunfire and explosions over longer distances.
CryEngine 5.11 also introduces significant updates to Hunt Showdown's immersive audio. First of all, we are carefully refining the game's audio mix, improving our very own Cry-Spatial audio technology, and adding an audio slapback ecosystem for improved clarity and sound definition. Technical improvements ushered in with the Enginge Upgrade bring with it a leap in visual fidelity, with improvements across textures, lighting, animation, and more. Introducing a new light cache system and specular tracing for multi-bounce global illumination means we can create higher quality lighting for heightened realism in those dark corners. For players, this means greater depth to environmental visuals, richer darkness, and even more detail for keen eyes and skilled hunters to make use of. As well as this, we've introduced improvements to both character models and environmental features. More accurate physically based lighting for hair shading means those beards have never looked so good. While water and rivers now have improved flow, turbulence, and foam for increased realism. These subtle details make for a significantly more natural and realistic feel to the world of Hunt Showdown, contributing to a more deeply engaging experience overall. We are taking advantage of upscaled performance with DLSS 2.3.1 and FSR 2.1.2. For players, this technology not only means a performance boost in terms of running games at a higher frame rate, but sharper, more detailed graphics, visual effects, and more.